Hello and welcome to a new episode of $1,000 Car Guy. Today we are going to be doing an installation and review on this. The Chinese-made iStrong vehicle security system. It has a 4.3-inch LCD screen, night vision camera, and whatever. It was like $28 on Amazon. I was going to order it off of Wish, but it would have taken a month and a half to get here, so I ordered it off of Amazon. If you want to get one for yourself, it'll be in the description below. Also just broke my tripod and mount, which sucks badly because that's going to make filming this that much more difficult. Inside the box, you're going to get a few things: an instruction manual, the camera itself, one of the power options, we'll learn more about that later, the long video / power cord, the 4.3-inch monitor, and the cables that are attached to it. So before we go pulling out the entire interior of this long school bus of a Denali, I first just wanted to check to see if just hooking it up, everything works. There's no sense in me going through this whole process if it doesn't actually work. So we're going to do a dry run and assemble everything, not run underneath the carpet first, just to prove that we're not wasting our time. Like I said earlier, there's two ways to hook this up. You can either run it off of the reverse lights from the back of your truck, or you can run it off the cigarette outlet. So I've got a couple of them in here. There's one, there's another one down here. But essentially, the cigarette adapter that they have here comes with this trusty on-off button, which is pretty cool by itself. So you can have it plugged in all the time. This is feeding the power for the whole system. And then if you push it in, it should engage everything and power on the unit. And then otherwise it's just not going to be powered on. Because you can imagine how weird it would be to drive down the street and have this thing constantly showing you what's behind you. As a side note, I'd like to mention that I specifically was looking for the license plate mounting kind, because on my truck application I think it's going to work out best for me, and we may be notching this to make it fit. But I didn't want anything to get in the way of the hatch, because a lot of the other systems look like they could mount to the bumper itself, or you could hang them upside down, but I wanted to make it nice and simple, so I searched for a while to find one just like this. So if we fast forward a few minutes later, I now have a working complete system. This is wired up the simplest way that they allow you to do it, but it was also extremely easy. I did need a couple tools, however. You need a good set of wire strippers, because the connection that goes to the cigarette outlet, you need to strip back those cables. Now if you had just a pocket knife, you could do the same thing, just letting you know. Along with a small Phillips head screwdriver, again for the same piece, because you need to tighten down the terminals using the Phillips head screwdriver. So here's how it works. You have your cigarette outlet receiver / power cord. So that runs down here, and it runs into this junction, and then into an adapter. And then you have your positive and negatives, which they are labeled on there, so there's no mix-up. Red to positive, black to negative, just remember that. That goes into this bundle of snakes. From their diagram, it showed me that the large connector was coming from the power outlet, so I just followed the same system that they had. One end of it goes out to the camera itself, and then the other half plugs into the monitor. And originally I had plugged in red to red, yellow to yellow, and then when I looked down at the pamphlet again, it said that in this configuration yellow should go to white. This additional yellow wire is meant for a secondary input, so if you wanted to have two cameras or more feeding this video monitor. This may not work for all applications, but my cigarette lighter always has power in my truck, so you'll need to check to see if you need to have your key in your ignition or not, but mine works this way. So we power the unit on. You can see that the light has come on. We also see that there is video coming from the video camera itself. Boy, that's weird, isn't it? So yeah, basically follow the instructions and everything worked exactly as it was supposed to. Also, the camera quality is not terrible, so that's nice. We haven't seen what infrared looks like yet. That's what these little lights are for, and I guess they just work automatically at night because there's no switch to activate it. Otherwise, we can start to mount things the real way, and then I'll check back in when we're done. Also, just a reminder, if you're using the reverse lights to activate the camera, you don't need to have this power switch in line anywhere. You're going to get your power from your reverse lights in total. But you have to worry about your total draw on your system. It definitely states right in the beginning of the book. Please note below data, also whoever wrote this didn't speak a whole lot of English. The monitor voltage is 9 volts and 35 volts, or it runs between those two, and then the backup camera is between 9 and 14 volts. So if you have a huge draw over your system, it may not power on. And that would be on the depending thickness of your wire and the length that you're running it at. And because we're basically in a school bus, I'm not quite sure if we're going to have too much draw on it yet. I guess we'll find out. So, the first snafu that I ran into, the length of the power cord from the front video signal, the one that actually plugs into the monitor itself, that power cord is probably a total of 5 feet long, nowhere near long enough to go the whole length of this. Originally I thought I was going to be just tapping into the reverse light power back here, just a couple butt connectors or solder them on however you want to do it normally. But that doesn't seem like it's the way it's supposed to be intended. It almost seems like I should be pulling it from the fuse block or the wires from the beginning of the truck. So we're going to look for them first, and then that way we can tap into them up front. And then all I need to do is run this video signal from the back here, which is going to plug into the camera itself down here. So the first thing I did was went up here, and you just lift up on this plastic and it all pops out. It's just got receiver clips all the way down the line. Next, you can just pull out these rubber seals. So that gave me the option to run my cord straight down here. Again, these plastic pieces just lift up, they unclip, and then it runs right into here. So next you mount it using the hardware that you would originally use for your license plate. And now I have my cord sitting inside right here. Well, I went ahead and just connected it. Currently the wires are running underneath, and then they run along the inside and then up to the front of the car. I'm running out of time very quickly for this install. It's a Halloween party up at the zoo that we are going to, so I need to hurry up and get this working very quickly. So unfortunately I will not be tying it into the reverse lights as of yet. I will make a future video tying it into the reverse lights, but for my time being I don't have the time. So what I've been doing, and I would not recommend this, I've been taking up the plastic trim that runs along the side of the car, removing things like the seatbelt covers, which will allow me to get to the plastic pieces underneath here. It should just pop up just like that. So what I've been doing is I've been following the line tucked up all the way against the side, running that as close as I can to the doors, following the trim because the rest of the harnesses run down there anyway. Once I get back up to the front, I'm going to run it underneath here, and then I'm going to run it across the front there, up the center console into the harness so I can plug it in straight from where we were originally. Now if you were doing this correctly, I'd recommend taking out all the seats and basically cutting a hole in the carpet straight in the back, and then you could just run your line straight up through the middle, because when I place it in front of the driver's seat I risk running it over with the power motor moving back and forth. You don't want to do that. There's going to be a positive line running there. So we're not doing this the correct way, we're doing this the fast and cheap way. So we got the back all taken care of, tucked in the side, tucked down here, and like I said, runs across the front. I had so much extra line, I ended up running it down this seat, back through here, up through here, and then I still had to zip tie a whole bunch of extra wire right there. But we have it plugged in the original way, not through the reverse lights. We're going to have to do that on a later date because I'm out of time. Power switch is on, and as you can see, we're looking backwards, baby. This is my 20-something foot car hauler. I got it recently, you probably saw it in a previous episode. So the first time I tried to hook it up unassisted, this happened. Holy crap! And I don't want that to happen anymore. So essentially the backup camera should allow me to see this. Let's give it a shot. Backing up. The camera quality is a little strange, I have to admit. But, I mean, we should just be able to center ourselves completely, and I'm not sure when we should stop. Probably there. Let's see how close we are in real life. Oh yeah, I have no trailer hitch. But if I did, we would have been perfect. So, that's good for me. Can't believe I forgot that. As I was inside, I realized, why don't I try putting the ball hitch on there and then see what it looks like in the camera? And after a bit of tilting and fiddling around, you can see that we can see the ball in there right now. So this is going to make hooking up the trailer a breeze. Completely worth the $28. I'm sure when I plug it into the reverse light fuse box, wherever it is in this truck, I will give you guys an update. Otherwise, that's basically it. This install was super easy. I made it a lot more complicated than it needed to be. If you didn't care about wire showing, you could have just ran it right up the middle. Wouldn't have mattered at all. But, I mean, for $28, I don't think it can get a whole lot better. I'm also very curious to see what the night vision looks like, so I'll have to show you guys that in a few hours. We'll just snap to it right now. It is now dark, as you can, well, can't see. I'm going to turn on the rear camera. And there you go. The camera's having a little bit of trouble adjusting to it, but it is displaying quote-unquote night vision. If you want to see what the camera actually looks like, to my actual eyes, I just see a couple of little red lights, but the camera can pick up the infrared, so that's pretty interesting. But in person, it's just a couple little red dots on either side of the camera. Anyway, thanks for watching this episode. I'm going to have to pick another day to install it via the reverse lights because I just ran out of time. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next episode of $1000 Car Guy.